For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has made an unannounced visit to Baghdad just days ahead of the 20th anniversary of the U.S.-led invasion of Iraq that ousted Saddam Hussein and was based on lies that Hussein was harboring weapons of mass destruction. Thousands of U.S. troops remain now helping in the fight against the militant Islamic State group, or Daesh. Daesh has killed and wounded dozens of Iraqi troops over the past month.
Through the global coalition to defeat Daesh, we liberated more than 50,000 square kilometers from Daesh. And we freed more than 4.5 million Iraqis from their cruel grip. We are focused on the mission of defeating Daesh, and we are here for no other purpose. And threats or attacks on our forces only undermine that mission.
According to the Cost of War run by Brown University, while the number of those killed in the near 2 decades-old war is unknown, upwards of 306,000 civilians have died since the U.S. invasion, mostly from aerial bombing, shelling, gunshots, suicide attacks, and fires. It says despite more than $100 billion committed to aiding and reconstructing Iraq, many parts of the country still suffer from lack of access to clean drinking water and housing. China's new foreign minister has warned Beijing and Washington are headed for conflict and confrontation if the U.S. doesn't change its course. The Biden administration has been on a collision course with China over its purported spy balloon in U.S. airspace. U.S. findings of low confidence COVID-19 emerged from a Chinese biotech lab, Taiwan's independence, and sanctions on Chinese companies and/or individuals supporting Russia's war in Ukraine. China's foreign minister Qin Gang struck a combative tone today, comments translated by Al Jazeera.
We will take it as our mission to defend China's interests. We firmly oppose any form of hegemonism and power politics. We firmly oppose the Cold War mentality, camp-based confrontation, and acts to contain and hold back other countries' development. We will resolutely safeguard China's sovereignty, security, and development interests.
His comments were made during a legislative session. British lawmakers are pushing a ban on certain forms of migration into the country, Julia Chapman reports.
The UK government has set out new legislation designed to stop migrants crossing the English Channel in small boats. Plans would prevent those who arrive in the country unofficially from claiming asylum or returning to the UK in future, and place a duty on the government to remove them from Britain. Refugee groups say the plans are unworkable and possibly illegal. Julia Chapman reporting.
The Biden administration is considering restarting migrant family detentions that were used under the Trump administration and the Obama administration. According to the New York Times, the move would be a stark reversal for President Joe Biden, who came into office promising to adopt a more compassionate approach to the border after the harsh policies of his predecessor, Donald Trump. Ukraine's president is vowing to hold on to Bakhmut as Russian forces encroach on the devastated eastern city. Meanwhile, there's a shakeup with Russia's private mercenary Wagner Group. Nick Harper reports.
The chief of Russia's largest private military company, the Wagner Group, says its representative at the Defense Ministry's command headquarters has had his access revoked. It comes after the apparent request for ammunition for troops fighting in eastern Ukraine was denied at the weekend. Yevgeny Prigozhin says it's his troops, not the Kremlin's, who are leading the fight against the long-besieged town of Bakhmut in the east of the country.
If Wagner PMC retreats from Bakhmut now, the whole front will collapse. Today, Wagner's the glue holding things together. As I've said, on one hand, we're pulling in the whole Ukrainian army, grinding them up and destroying them, not letting them focus on other parts of the front line. On the other, we're pushing forward, and others have to follow us to save face and reputation. They're learning that it can be done. It's important to break the stereotype. Can we or can't we? Yes, we can. If we can, it means you can too, lads. Come on. If we retreat, then we'll go down in history forever as people who have taken the main step towards losing the war.
Nick Harper reporting.
Religious leaders in Atlanta called on the city to stop its development of a mega police training facility in a forest next to Black and brown communities Monday. It's part of a week of action to stop what activists call Cop City. It comes after police in Atlanta arrested 35 people protesting Cop City and charging some 20 of them with domestic terrorism over the weekend. Hundreds rallied to kick off the week of action to stop the mega development. Community members say will adversely impact surrounding Black and brown communities. I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio.